and welcome to Hot Flush Lawyers, the podcast where we discuss the menopause and its impact with business leaders, healthcare professionals, and other inspirational women who bring to life their personal experiences of the menopause, discuss how times have changed, and share how the menopause has affected them in their lives and careers. Now, over to our two hosts, Clare Thornton and Amanda Gait. We hope you enjoy this episode of Hot Flush Lawyers.
Okay, welcome to another episode of the Hot Flush Lawyers, sponsored by Thornton Jones Solicitors, with me, Clare Thornton, Managing Director, and my colleague...
Amanda from Thornton Jones.
My colleague, Amanda.
Yeah, the one.
So, as most of you know, we were originally family lawyers together, and back in the day, we worked quite regularly with another lady from another firm of solicitors, who shall remain nameless.
No, not for long.
Not for long. Now, this is Delia. Say hello, Delia.
Hello, Delia.
Hello, Delia. Delia is a family lawyer at JWP Solicitors in Wakefield and
Pontefract.
Mm-hmm. And you're based in Pontefract.
Based in Pontefract, yes.
So when we were doing this podcast, I said to Amanda, we were writing a list of guests, and I said, I know who'll be good on this podcast, and this would be Delia. So here she is.
Starring moment.
Strap yourselves in.
It's going to be
it may be a risque. So Delia, welcome, and thank you for coming to join us.
Thank you for inviting me. You're
welcome. So what we do in this podcast is talk about our experiences of menopause, particularly as professional women, and how it's impacted on our professional lives, but also our personal lives. So tell us a bit about your experience of menopause. Tell us how old you are. Are you through it? Are you
I'm 58. I don't know if I'm through it because I'm having HRT now.
Yes, great.
So that masks the effects of it. I suppose I'd have to trial it, wouldn't I, and come off and see where I'm at.
You're still having periods then?
No,
right. So you...
No, but then again, I didn't have those anyway, because part of the treatment was the Mirena coil.
Ah, yeah.
Which stops those anyway, because of the... Progesterone, yeah, I have to get them right. So the gel that you rub on is the estrogen gel, that's right. Yeah. So how did I know? I suppose... It's hard to unpick some of the symptoms, isn't it? Because you can have anxiety and brain fog and all of those things for a whole host of different reasons. And looking back on the timeline from 2018 to now, there's been a lot of events that could have triggered that. So you don't really unpick and suddenly, think, I've got that because it's menopause. So you don't make that connection. I suppose the hot flushes are a dead giveaway, aren't they? So that's, at night time.
So was that 2018 you said that you started with those? Or was that when you went on
No,
HRT?
I only went on HRT last year.
Oh, okay.
22, 23, because brought up in an era where, oh no, we won't need that and we're going to get through it and we're just going to get our head down, and that sort of stoical feminine bringing up, if you like. And I just thought, that's it, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be...
I don't need it.
I'm going to be strong. I'm going to get through this. And then if the anxiety and the brain fog were related to the menopause, then I thought, no, I'm not going to do it without something. So on the day that I'd got an appointment with my GP, it was really quite ironic. I listened to a podcast by Dr. Louise Newsom.
Oh, yeah, we've talked about her before.
And I don't know if she is psychic or if she'd spoken to my doctor 10 minutes before I went in, but he trotted out almost word for word what she said he would say. So I did a really long walk, listened to the entire podcast, cried through most of it and thought, oh, okay, right, fine, I'm not nuts and there is a reason why I feel like I do. Went to see him, and as I explained what it was, he said, well, I can give you antidepressants. So I just said to him, no, thank you. And he went, well, why? I went, because I'm not depressed. And then I actually did say to him, if somebody chopped, because she says this in the podcast, if somebody chopped your bits off, would you want antidepressants or would you want testosterone? Maybe you'd want both if your bits had been whipped off.
Yeah, you probably would.
So he went through all the options then. He, didn't want to discount it straight away, but then went through all the options. Went through the patches, which on a holiday they sweat off in a swimming pool, which I'm in 5 times a week. They just rinse off. So they were no good. And I don't think we'd got the balance right. So the thing that I found a bit inadequate was there doesn't seem to be any means by checking how much of each bit you need. I didn't find that there was any forensic experiment where they said, right, you need X grams of that and X grams of the other. It was just try this, try that, and it was just touch and go. Till settled on Mirena coil and the gel every day.
So you've got the Mirena coiling still now?
I have. I had it taken out when I thought that was it. You know, there's not going to be any more babies. We don't need to worry about that. And I thought, well, I might as well have it taken out. It had been in, I don't know what the given lifespan is, but certainly more than the 5 years that the previous ones had been in.
Had you been on that all your life then? Is that your
After having children, that was,
That was your childbirth.
That was what I went to. That was my default
right.
contraception, yeah. And then they had a shelf life, I think, of about 5 years. But then when, I don't know if you fed a line or if this is genuine, when you get towards menopause, 5 years is just a guideline and it could be just a cost-saving thing. So I had it taken out, and then they struggled to get the right amount of progesterone and said that this was a better way of managing your progesterone levels.
Oh, right, that's
because
interesting.
it's got a slight slow release of it. Even though I could tell there were some reasons why it wouldn't be ideal to have a coil in at 56, 57, I think it went back in. Because everything starts to
Sag.
shut up shop, close up.
all those words.
Dry up.
Dry up.
Yeah, oh no, she had plenty of the lube. The word of the day. Yeah, she had plenty of that. So, yeah.
What, when you was putting it in?
Yeah, because apparently things do. So when I went for a smear after the coil had been taken out, the nurse said, "Oh, it's closing."
What is?
Your cervix closes apparently.
Oh, because it's no longer required to.
So then you know when you go for it putting in, it's not going to be pain free.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, everything starts to
Well, I know everything does that,
I
but
know everything
everything
sort of
closes down. but-
close down. Yeah, bit of a cul-de-sac effect.
I suppose you don't need.
She probably thought I didn't need it anymore.
Yeah, well, you
Well,
don't.
there's bits that you still need, isn't there?
Yeah, I guess.
It's not completely out of action.
Were you put off by any of the bad press that HRT had been getting in the years prior? I mean, it's only very recently that people have been much more open to HRT because there was all of this ridiculous bad press that it had got over the years. Was that one of the reasons why you didn't have it, or is it just as you say?
Yeah, partly that, but also because I am a little bit anti-meds, if I'm perfectly honest. If I can avoid taking a pill, I will. Because I think you get into a situation, as we're seeing with some of our ageing relatives, where you take pill A for conditioner and it gives you side effect B, and so you take pill B for side effect B, and you just end up with 27 pills a day, don't you? So I didn't want it for that reason.
Right.
So
you'd push back. How long do you think you pushed back on it for before you really? And was there a moment where you thought, do you know what? I cannot do this without some medication.
yeah, I think it was the week before I booked that appointment, because you've got to get through the Fort Knox system of a GP's receptionist, haven't you? So it was probably a week or 2 weeks prior to that where I booked this appointment, because tearful, and I suppose all the stuff that you might have with before your periods when you're in your 20s and 30s. So tearful, anxiety, but again, that could have been for a whole host of different reasons. But the brain fog was starting to really kick in, and in our job, you just can't afford for that to be an issue. Yeah, you can have your off day and you can be a bit tired, or, we all have those. You feel a bit under the weather, not right well. But if that's becoming a general thing where you just feel a bit under par, I don't think that's particularly good. So there was that.
So this is your mid to late 50s then. Were you not having symptoms before that?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
So your hot flushes and everything started sort of
mid-50s, yeah. So I didn't have anything before that.
But you had no periods anyway because of the coil. So
no,
you
so I wouldn't have known. Because
No.
they kept saying, well, when was your last period? Because don't they go 12 months or something?
Yeah, that's what they say, 12 months.
Yeah,
no periods. But
I had no means of knowing that because of the fact that the coil was already in. So
maybe it was masking the symptoms.
Could
It
have
was
been.
not masking. It was actually alleviating. The
it might have
symptoms.
been. If there was still some element of progesterone in it, even though it had gone past its sell-by date, then maybe it was.
Yeah.
Did they just leave them in then?
Well, I was
Surely
just worried it was going to
closes
take up
over.
root.
Yeah,
so it was
exactly.
just going to get...
that part of
It's
your
going to get
body.
ivy growing round.
on the autopsy, they were going to go, oh, look what else we found.
Embedded in.
Oh, look what they used to have back in the day. Let's get Antiques Roadshow in.
I don't think they'll go fishing around there.
Depends what I die of.
It does, yeah. Someone does you in. You'll be...
We've got to look everywhere if I'm done in, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
Did you think that anybody else had noticed? Because I've known you for years, Delia, and I don't think. I mean, yeah, we don't necessarily see each other every day, do we? But
No.
we do see each other, and I don't think I would have ever said that you had any anxiety problems or anything like that, or brain fog. You were always as sharp as it comes whenever I saw you. But so
I don't know, I think we hide it, don't we? Because I mean, I don't know, maybe the younger lawyers don't to some extent, but I always worked on the basis that nobody at work gives a shit what's happening at home to a large extent. They want you to come in and perform. And that's the nature of our job, isn't it? You're only as good as your last bill. And that is largely the nature of our job. If you're not making your money, and I'm not saying JWP are like that at all, they have been really, really accommodating and good, and do take into account, but it's like ingrained from when you start, isn't it?
It is.
yeah,
You know, I mean, when I first had my first child, she's 30 this year, I was working for a West Yorkshire firm in Halifax, and I waited and waited to tell them that I was pregnant. And no word of a lie, the office manager's words were, when I told him, what a shame, your career was just taking off.
Oh, God.
So when you think that they're not bothered about that, they're not going to... And you're just trained to keep your anxieties and your upset and all the rest of it at home, aren't you? And just get on with it and be the public
For an half
face.
hour when everyone seems to have
everybody has breakdowns.
Well, they do now. It's
There's too many women,
They do
that's
now.
what-
Yeah, they do now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people do bring their problems to it. They don't bring them to it. That is part of that person, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it
So you
is.
can't not. But I think in terms of anxiety, you're trained to sort of stoic face, best foot forward, aren't you?
What
Just
sort
get
of
on
thing?
with
What
it.
sort of anxiety symptoms did you have?
Oh, just like the tummy and, just my mind overthinking. So if you can't sleep because you've woken up for a hot flush or you needed a wee or both, and then you get back to bed and your head's away, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your head is just going.
Yeah.
And if you've got a lot going off, so since 2018 we have had a fair bit going off, it was like just pick a subject to be worried about.
Yeah.
And away you go.
But you wouldn't, as you say, no. Would your family have noticed it?
Yeah, the family would have noticed it more than work colleagues, yeah. I suppose maybe my secretary, because if you work with somebody so long, I've worked with Danielle for many years, they're quite intuitive, aren't they? And they just sort of pick up on your body language as well.
But as you say, I mean, you had a lot going on
Yeah.
in the background, so
Yeah.
it could have quite easily have been put down to the stress and strains
Yeah.
of everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, do you think that it affected your confidence in court? Because you do a lot of court-based stuff as well.
Yeah, absolutely did. In fact, that's reminded me because there was one occasion where I hadn't done an FDR in a financial case for quite a while.
That's a court court hearing. When
sorry.
you have to just
Just a little court hearing.
It's
yeah.
a court hearing where you're trying to negotiate.
Trying to sort
settlement.
out who gets the sideboard, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I hadn't done one for a while, and I'd had lots of emails from the barrister on the other side because he decided to instruct counsel. And the emails, you'd have thought it were Goliath. It was like, really getting quite shirty and full of himself and bombastic in these emails. And unusually for me, I was thinking, I'm not going to like this. This guy's going to wipe the floor with me. I'm going to be rubbish. And that is not
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 you.
me. That was not me. Yeah. And I went and saw my boss and I'm like, like then I was crying then because I was just really, really worried. And he said exactly the right thing. He said, no, you need to go. But I'll be there at court tomorrow as well. So I'll just sort of, like keep an eye on you sort of thing. And when I got there, he was about 2'2", this little weasel of a barrister. And he was just hiding behind his correspondence. I just said, now go away and think again. Yeah. And he ran off like a little lapdog. He was like putty in my hands. And I'm like, wow, why did I get all... But I wouldn't have done that.
That was so unusual for you.
That's very unusual, yeah.
Because you'd have gone for him.
I'd have just eaten him for breakfast and then gone back for the pickings for my lunch. But that was just not me. But yeah, it does affect your confidence. But again, it's hard to work out if the events of life occurring at the same time contributed to that.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think, even though I'm on HRT, for whatever reason, whether it's just life events or menopause, I don't think I am as resilient to conflict, which is a bit naff given the job I do. So what I tend to do is I just try to avoid it as much as I possibly can personally. Roll over and play dead a lot more than I ever would. Because I don't think you can turn it on or off, can you?
No.
You're either that sort of person or you're not, and you fight your own battles as much as your clients' battles. But no, just taking a much more, okay, whatever. approach? Is that age?
Yeah.
Is that menopause? Is that life? You don't
It's
know, do
probably
you?
age, isn't
We were just discussing that in the previous podcast with Amanda's husband. Because there is an element of, excuse me,
it? Oh dear.
it's a little cough there.
Yeah.
An element of that's age, but I think that's the beauty of getting through the menopause, because I'm still. I don't know if I'm menopausal. Again, same thing. I'm on HRT, so how do you know? But I am still having periods occasionally, so I'm probably still perimenopause. But
Yeah, you probably are.
I
then,
think I think my friends and colleagues who are a bit older and have gone through it, it's that sort of. You do care about what people think about you, the people that you care about, who you love, but
Yeah.
but it's that wisdom and sort of ability just to say, I'm not gonna let this phase me as much. Which I don't think you can do when you're in the middle of the menopause or the perimenopause, particularly, because
You don't know which battles to
you don't know
pick.
which, and it's overwhelming. That
Yeah.
feels overwhelming sometimes. I mean, I can remember having, and I'm not an anxious person.
Did you get palpitations?
Palpitations, just sitting watching telly or doing
Yeah, I
nothing.
would get them in the night as well.
and they make you
scare
frightened
you,
because you
don't
think
they?
you're having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah.
But that's a really common symptom of menopause, and I don't understand why. Must be something to do with hormones, mustn't it?
I think
But-
it is the hormone thing, because that Louise Newsom podcast, which I thought was brilliant, she's got an app, that Balance app, as a result. And I filled in the questionnaire and just said to Dr. Here you go, I've done this for you. And I think he's thinking, oh, great.
Yeah, another one.
Another one that
Another
thinks she
mad
knows it
woman.
all.
Yeah.
But I think she was saying that the hormones can cause heart issues.
Yeah.
So in the wrong balance, it's like a diabetic, but that's got a status and a kudos, hasn't it? And you wouldn't give a diabetic antidepressants
Instead of insulin.
instead of insulin.
No, of course you wouldn't.
It's absolutely bonkers.
It is. It's really bad, isn't it? That's just masking the whole problem.
It is, but then again, I look at it, and I was prescribed antidepressants.
You did have antidepressants?
And I still am prescribed antidepressants, but it's to combat the anxiety and the panic attacks that I had with the menopause. So for me, it's very difficult for me to think, actually, that's a bad thing, because it worked really, really well for me.
Yeah, my cousin's on those. Yeah.
And it means that I can drive, and it means that I can act like a normal human being without all of the other stuff. So it is difficult, and I do think that one of the things that hopefully we'll start to get towards is that there isn't a one fix.
There isn't
for
one size
everybody.
fits all. No, there isn't.
There isn't,
And it
because-
might be HRT and antidepressants is the right fix for you.
Yeah, that's what I've got at the moment. So
Yeah.
I'm on HRT and I have the antidepressant, and I've tried to come off them, but then I can't drive. So,
right, okay.
So I
you
just
get
can't
bad
drive.
right.
I just get these stupid anxiety attacks, where I get very angry with myself that I'm having these attacks.
And that won't
but-
make it any better.
So it
will it?
makes it even worse.
Yeah.
But so I've just taken the view. Well, I don't really like the fact that I'm on them, but I need them.
It's what works.
But it's
isn't
the
it?
stigma, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the label, because we've dealt with clients who come in and bandy about, I'm depressed. And then you start to unpick, well, are you really? And are you just sad, or have you, whatever. And then you look at the prescriptions of what some people are on, and you do take a judgment on it, which then when it comes to you needing that thing, you think, is that the right thing for me? Do I really need that sort of thing? You start to self-doubt then, don't you?
Yeah.
You see, I don't think of HRT as being medication, though, because, I mean, it is hormones. It's not medication.
That's one
it is
perspective,
hormones, and it's
yeah,
not.
it is.
It's like the Marina Call is a hormone producing thing. The pill that we took all our lives to stop having children, although I did certainly. That's all hormone replacement in effect, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just that with. I think there was so much bad press about HRT in the past that I guess our parents grew up on. I do think a lot of people had a bit of a stigma around it, and still think there is about that. They still think there's a lot of people who go, I'm going to battle through it, and that's fine if you can, if your symptoms aren't that bad. But those palpitations and the hot sweats and the lack of sleep that brings,
that doesn't help the
'cause
anxiety and all the rest of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you and then going to court the next day and and the brain fog's worse because you're tired. So it's all perpetuating, and I think you've got to do what's right for you.
It's very much a downward spiral, isn't it? I mean, some of the examples that Louise Newsom quoted, one of them was from a 92-year-old lady and she put her on HRT,
HRT at
at 92. She started taking it at 92. And then the other ladies she'd seen that were younger, where the husbands in some cases had booked the appointment for the wife as a last-ditch attempt, because she's not cheap. And these ladies had gone with letters and said, just open that when I've gone. And one of them was a suicide note and said, unless your treatment works for me, come and find me off Tower Bridge or whatever.
Oh, my gosh.
And she was really, I mean, that is an extreme example, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if you can't function in what you've done as a living for all those years that you've done it when this hits, it does have a massive knock-on effect. More so in your professional life than really in your personal life, I suspect.
I think we're really lucky in this country that we've got people like her
Yeah.
who open the debate. I know there's been some questions around certain things, but I think she's opened the debate.
She has.
And I think she's opened the dialogue. What I found interesting is very recently I was talking to a lady who it was a similar age to me, but American. And you know, I was just generally chit-chatting about that's the menopause, etc., as you do, and when we delved into the conversation, they're still very much in that element of you can't take HRT.
Oh, really?
It's really bad for you. It's really bad for you. You've just got to get on with it. You've got to get on with it. And when I said, oh well, I'm on HRT, she said, but aren't you worried? Aren't you worried about what it does to you and about the cancers? And I'm like, well, that's been disproved. It's all rubbish. It's all rubbish. And so I think in this country we're far further ahead with the dialogue, and I certainly see it myself. I don't know about you, Delia, because I'm a similar age to you.
Yeah. That
over the last few years
there's been that change.
There's been that change that we can talk about it. You can talk about it at work, and it's not just I'm having a hot flush.
Yeah.
You can talk about it.
Yeah.
So have you seen it in other people at work, or is it and being able to talk to people about their symptoms, or are you just the oldest one in the bunch?
I'm the oldest one in the bunch, and if Amanda's started, it's been masked by all her other symptoms at the minute, with a bad back and whatever else. But I wouldn't think that it would be taboo.
No.
I wouldn't feel like it was taboo, not just because I work with women, but because the blokes at our place, I think, would be equally open to discussions about it.
It's definitely changed, hasn't it?
There's definitely less stigma to it. But I suppose it depends culturally. So that's how I was brought up, like the lady described to you, where you just get through these things and you know, like, never take to your bed when you're on your period. You know, my grandma would work through that and a migraine and whatever else, because that was the...
Have you spoken to your mum about her symptoms?
Spirit. My mum had and still does have some symptoms.
Does she?
And my mum's 81 next month, and wouldn't even entertain going on it now.
No, well, no.
Even though I quoted the example of that other lady.
What symptoms is she having then?
She still gets the flushes.
Does she?
And she says she still gets ratty the week before. She says she would have been having a period.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I did say to her, no, you just ratty all the time, Mother, but she didn't have that.
Well, the thing that we discovered in one of our other podcasts, which fascinated me, was I think we had 4 women in the room, didn't we? Us 2 and 2 others. And all 3 of the 4, not me, had really bad itchy ears.
Really?
Inside their ears.
Yeah, it really, really itchy internally. Have you had that?
Not had that, but I have heard people say their skin tone and texture
alters
and
dry.
starts. So it could be that. We're going into the dry bits.
Dry bits.
Yeah,
we're heading towards dry bits.
You've teed me up to dry bits.
We like dry bits. Like your mother said, what did she say?
Have you dried up?
Have you dried
up?
That's what she asks me.
Your mum?
Yeah, that's what. That's
does
her
she mean
term.
periods, or does she mean?
She means that
lubrication.
Well, no, she means periods.
Everything
dried up.
All right, so you're a wizened old raisin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a really nice phrase, that, isn't it, from your own mother?
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like we should get your mum on.
Oh,
that'd be
good
funny.
God, no,
yeah, we could get hers. I tell you what, we'll get mine and yours at the same
we
time.
won't.
That would be really
No, we won't.
hilarious.
Although I might get a bit of sympathy as to what I've got to put up with.
I mean, the last really great comment from my mum was 2 weeks ago when I went to see her. She said, "Are you short of cash?" And I went, "No, why do you ask?" "Well, I can see your roots. I don't want you going to seed." Great, thanks. So whether I've dried up or not is irrelevant. If she can see my roots, it's not good enough.
I love these Yorkshire women. They're great, aren't they? My mum wouldn't say anything horrible. She's so lovely, my mum. She doesn't. She's
clearly not from
young.
Yorkshire then.
No, and she's a bit younger as well. She's only in her mid-70s, but she's a very kind person, you know. Doesn't say things like that, so I feel quite grateful.
I don't think they feel that they're being unkind. I think they're just being straight to the point.
Yeah.
I think they're being helpful.
Yeah,
Go book your hair appointment in case you'd forgotten.
I think I might be like that when I'm older. I quite like to be like that.
Well, at least she tells you. My mum, after I'd been to the hairdressers, I said, "Do you like my new hairstyle?"
Oh, she didn't comment afterwards.
And she went, "Oh, I think you need to go back.
Get your money back.
Have they done anything? I can see your roots." I went, "That's a shadow, Mum."
That's the ombre effect, Mum. You're not with the times.
I feel like I'll be like her when I'm older.
Yeah,
Your Alice has got it coming.
Oh yeah, hopefully.
You just
look
want to
forward to
watch
that.
out in the corner. Your time will come.
Probably already come, Molly, isn't it?
Other than the things that we've talked about, like the sweats and things like that, did you, looking back now, can you think actually that was a symptom and I didn't recognise it as a symptom at the time?
Yeah, I mean, you've reminded me about the palpitations and things like that. So yes, and I think the anxiety was probably more attributed to that because we all deal with events in our lives and get on with it, don't we? But I think it just made it worse, definitely. So I would say about 2018, 2019. So yeah, 5 years ago, which it just made me early mid-50s when it all started, and I left it till a couple of years ago to do anything about it. Because you do think, oh, it'll be all right, I'll battle on, it might not be that.
Well, especially if you have health problems, if you have any health problems as well that go alongside it, because I've got friends who've put things down to health problems. Well, you had health problems, didn't you? That then actually ended up not being health problems in the traditional sense. They were health problems caused by them. I mean, the real problems, but caused by the hormone changes in your body. And it is like you said, hard to know which is causing which.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I think one of the things that that I've found helpful is when now you are in groups of women of various ages, there's the ability to be able to say, well, I've got this.
Compare
what do you
symptoms.
think?
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, myself and Delia, we have a yearly event where we go away.
Oh yes,
And act daft.
I've seen
than
some,
what we're normally at.
Yeah.
I've seen some
Have you
fancy
seen the
dress
photos?
pictures, haven't
Yeah.
I?
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
You haven't seen
Like-
our defining moment of me and Joe Whitehead singing?
No, not that one.
You
But
Eurythmics.
she's seen you dressed up as in an ABBA
outfit,
costume.
yeah.
Oh, that was dashing. Wasn't as good as a shark, was it? But
I've seen that as well, I think. I'm sure you showed me that.
Yeah, we go away and just for a weekend. It started that one of us, also called Amanda, was 50 and we went for that weekend, didn't we? And we've carried it on
clicked,
everyone
yeah, it
because
went
we've
well.
all got on really, really well. And we're various ages, so there's quite young. Me and Delia are probably the oldest there, aren't we?
Yeah.
And you do now get into those discussions, and I remember discussions that you were having about the time that you were going on to the HRT, and I think that one of the ladies was talking, who was slightly younger than us, and she was talking about a hair loss.
oh yes, she was.
Oh,
And
yeah.
she had hair loss, and
She did.
and we were like, well, I think that might be it. You need to go and see somebody. I think at that point, I remember you
She'd
having
just
that conversation.
kind of
with-
gone on to patches, but I think the anxiety about the hair loss meant that she'd developed this kind of touching her hair all the time, brushing it, feeling it, just checking it all the time, and then she'd go, look, and there'd be clumps of hair. And then it's again, isn't it? It's a vicious circle because then you worry about it and
Then it happens more.
then you lose even more.
Yeah.
Except, what happens to facial hair?
Oh, I know.
You know, when you start driving, you think, right, I'm going to get
Other
that when I
bits.
get home. I'm going to get that little bugger.
Hair is weird, isn't it? In
Yeah,
menopause?
just would. I've not had that.
I've not had that either.
I might have got a bit of a moustache, but I think I've always had a bit of a moustache. But it's only a very light coloured one. If it starts going dark, then I'll start worrying. But it's a bit. But I haven't got sort of like
Whiskers.
Ping,
A lot of
ping
people
coming
talk
out.
about
We
whiskers.
do see a lot of women with,
But then
like
you lose hair in like parts that you had to wax in the previous life.
Yeah, it's not quite
not
as
as
prevalent,
thick, is it?
No.
But then I took.
It just moves. It geographically moves. It just finds
comes
a
out
new
your
home
nose
on your
or
body,
something.
doesn't it? Yeah. What's it all about? My nose isn't cold. I don't need hair in it.
It's very weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's odd.
I know.
Completely bizarre. And I don't want a beard. I'm not into that sort of thing.
I know some people do get lots and lots of facial hairs.
They do, yeah.
Yeah. But as I say, mine's been more the lack of things in my ears have made me stick
That's
what
what
I've got at all,
that's caused the itching, hasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, that's caused me to stick things in it and scratch with
What
them.
about the tiredness though? Did you get that with it?
Oh, yeah.
Where you just want your nanny nap at 2.
I
That
still
graveyard
do.
slot after your lunch.
I still do on a Sunday.
Less so
afternoon.
now that I've stopped sweating, because it was the sweating that would wake me up, and then I could,
Yeah.
and then like you say, you can't get back to sleep because you're just thinking about everything. But I definitely found that difficult, but now that's stopped because the HRT sorted that out, so that's fine.
I just think that sometimes I did wonder whether it was as a result of the menopause or whether it was just as a result of the fact that I'm 57 and therefore if I'm in the garden all day I'm tired and I can't do what I used to do.
In a way where you'd have done the garden, come
Yeah.
home, done a 3-course meal, and then
Carried on.
painted a bedroom.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And so I don't know whether or not that was down to the menopause. I suppose it probably is because it's part of the aging process.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of it. But yeah, I do get tired. I do get very tired. And on a weekend, I haven't had a nap on an afternoon
Oh,
still.
I feel worse if I do that. I can't
Do you?
do it.
No,
no.
just
Do you
do
40
that?
minutes.
Yeah.
Or what, yeah, if I need it, I do, yeah.
When we're on our weekend away, me and Delia go for a nap.
Yeah, we're the old folks. We get the stair lift out and we wend our way up the stairs, one at a time, like Thora Heard.
I have to just jimmy her out of the hot tub though to get
Oh yeah,
get up there.
put the glass of prosecco down, go
Get
and have a
down and
sleep.
get
Took
upstairs for
everything
a
back
nap.
in my cosy before.
Oh dear. No.
So you see, in terms of the side effects though that you mentioned, we get called for mammograms and all that business, don't we? So if there were any nasty side effects, you'd like to think
they'd catch it.
that
Yeah.
they catch it. Whereas, like the Chris Hoy and the prostate thing and all that, the blokes are not called, are they? They're
No.
not just kept to check.
Well, they
No, in
are a
fact-
bit more now. I think you can request it regularly, but you've got to actually
You've got to
do
request it, haven't you, rather
Yeah,
than
it's
we
not
just
like a
get it.
routine check. We've had we do get checked quite often, don't we? For
Well,
the
the
smears
smears
as well,
and
and
the-
then the mammograms. Yeah, no, I think that's right, and I think that there's also some actual active benefits they say for the HRT on your heart
Your
health
bones,
and your
isn't it?
bones. Yeah,
Yeah,
reduces
the
your risk of
osteoporosis.
osteoporosis.
And isn't there some suggestion as well that it helps with regards to Alzheimer's?
Yes, I think so.
That your brain function effectively is.
Yeah,
Well,
they
it makes
did some
sense, doesn't it?
tests.
Because the hormone replace the symptoms are because your hormones are reducing, and so if you can get those hormones even a little bit back up, it's going to help,
Yeah.
isn't it, for lots of things.
I just think it's really hard though for the doctors knocking them all the way through this, but it's hard for them, isn't it, because there's no baseline from which they can
No.
take you, so they don't know what level to take you to.
There's no blood test or anything anymore, are there?
I think you can
They can
get a
take
blood
you,
test.
they can check your testosterone, but when they check what your levels are now, they've no baseline because nobody says when you're 30, let's do a
And know what you
let's
test for-
find out what your levels
are.
are now because we might need this when you're 55.
Yeah, true.
That's
So
a good idea.
there's
Delia.
no
We should do that, shouldn't we?
should invent that, get it patented.
Well, yeah, they do all sorts of other things and keep
Well, they
all
do.
sorts of other information about you. So why not keep that? So that when you get to our age, they can see what level
'cause
you've
it
gone
must be
to.
different for everybody, mustn't it? Presumably.
Yeah, you'd
Your
think
levels
so.
will be different, and what's normal for you might not be normal for somebody else. So yeah, it's a good sensible suggestion. We need to get
We need to
haven't
get a
got-
petition
we
going.
need a GP on, don't we?
Yeah, well,
Find out the
it's
fact.
difficult to
Get
get them
Louise
on.
Newsom on.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
The kudos.
If you're listening to
know what
this, Dr. Louise Newsom,
Yes, we're all ears.
we don't know.
Ring
her.
us up.
You know, and Halle Berry, she's doing menopausal podcasts as well.
Oh,
you know,
Davina.
she's-
And
yeah,
Davina
We
McCall,
love
yeah.
Davina.
Yeah.
If they want to come on, they can.
Don't think- don't
Have you not heard of Talyard North, Davina? What are you on about?
Oh, cheeky plug for Talyard North there.
Yeah.
Oh, right, let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex, baby.
Is that a proposal? You went
No.
you went really sultry there.
How did it impact on your sex life?
Is this the cue for the lube again?
Yeah. No, just wondered how
She's so cheeky.
Yeah, I think pre-HRT, it wasn't as exciting or as desirable.
Or
So
is it-
it restores it back to
Yeah.
your original levels. I
Yeah.
don't think, we're chasing each other around the bedroom 5 times a day. But yeah,
No. You feel
definitely.
better,
Yes, much better.
and therefore he feels better,
Yeah.
and therefore.
Although he's just had his prostate removed, so there are some
Oh.
complicating
oh dear.
issues there. But we've been really fortunate. It's been caught very early, and he's, by and large, he's all right.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Is that from a routine test?
No. Again, he just felt a bit...
Felt there was something wrong.
Tired, just felt a bit out of kilter, and just one of those really random discussions where I said, just go get your bloods checked, go get your testosterone levels. I don't know why I said that.
Right.
And he did, and the PSA was just over. So
they actually removed his prostate?
Yeah, because if you catch it early enough and it's contained, removal for some men, I mean, it won't work for all, but if you have all the other forms of treatment, it makes the prostate what they describe as sticky.
Okay.
And then it can't be removed because it's too close to man's bladder and bowel, and it can cause damage.
So they're best off taking it out.
Yeah. And we were very fortunate that the guy that did Paul's has got this particular technique, and it's rhesus sparing, it's called. And at the end of the day, it's better recovery rate from impotence and incontinence. So yeah, I've been really lucky, and it has been amazing.
That's really good. Because that's all hormone. Prostate's all to do with hormones, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nigel's high risk for prostate.
Is he?
He has it tested regularly because his dad's got prostate cancer.
Okay.
Yeah, it is genetic, isn't it?
Yeah, so he's got his dad's still got it. They can't cure him of it, but he's maintained he has patches.
Right.
So and he's had chemo and all sorts of things, and I think it's gone to his bones maybe, but
it does,
it's maintained.
Bones and lymph nodes.
He's had it for years and years and years, so it's, and it touch wood, he's still okay. But Nigel has periodically is tested.
It's amazing, really, isn't it, when you think about how things have come on, and this is.
But you would expect that from what they tell you about impotence and incontinence, that would just completely wipe it out. But this particular technique, whilst I think there are probably still going to be issues in him going back to work because he needs the loo more frequently and more urgently, but definitely not impotent, and I wouldn't describe as incontinent either. It's not that he can't control it, it's that, like, I need to go and I need to go now.
Yeah, so you need to be near a toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that's amazing.
I didn't know it caused impotence.
99% of the case it caused impotence and incontinence, because when you go see the physiotherapist, she gets one of them Molly Mod plastic models out, and I didn't realise it was all as close as what it is. And you can understand why it affects all the nerves in that area.
Right.
And it's the lack of hormones and nerves in that area when they've removed it.
All right.
Well, it's a good job, Delia. You were back to normal. You needed him back to normal.
I can't be having him letting the side down, can we?
When you were raring
when you fancy a bit, and he's like,
can't, sorry.
I had surgery a week ago.
You leave me alone.
No excuse.
It was a bit sore.
Oh, well, it's good to know that it all comes back. I keep saying this to you, because you tell me the same thing, don't you? That it's better post-menopause than it was
absolutely
perimenopause.
But I think you get more, I don't know, you get less inhibited as you get older.
Well, that's true, yeah.
You've never been inhibited, Delia, darling.
It was one day.
Listen, I've known Delia for
so if I'm
30
like
years,
this
she's
in
never
public,
been.
you imagine what I'm like in the bedroom. Yeah, all right. But also, because you're trained, when somebody tells you that your husband's going to be impotent, you're trained to think outside the box, and you start shopping.
Yeah.
Where at? And Summers.
No,
Love
there's
Honey.
plenty of
Love
online.
Honey is
Yeah.
the new one.
Oh, is it?
But don't confuse Laylo for the toys with the wine shop that Amanda Steele goes to. It's all in the spelling, and I let that slip, didn't I? And I went, well, I don't buy my wine from there. She went, well, I don't know where you shop. And then she spelt it, and it's very different.
Oh, Delia.
Am I officially sacked now? I've said a surname as well.
No,
No.
we'll edit
Just
it
cut
out.
it out.
Yeah, cut it out.
I'll deposit something in your Swiss bank account.
When you keep saying Amanda, they'll think it's me.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
you've got a double-barrelled name, Steelgate.
That'd be a good name for you. Steelgate.
Oh, Delia made me laugh.
Right, well, on that note,
Yes.
thank you very much.
You're
for
welcome. Thank
coming
you
today.
for It's
We've
been,
enjoyed it.
Disarming.
We like having a good chat about the menopause on this
Thank you for
podcast.
coming, Delia.
Yeah,
It's been-
thank you.
I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
I didn't feel like an option, to be fair.
We didn't really, but thank you anyway.
Yeah, but that's anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Hot Flush Lawyers podcast. Please be sure to follow and share this podcast and join in the conversation on our socials. We look forward to sharing our next episode with you very soon.